Let's make a plant-based, oil-free garden focaccia. Welcome back to the Whole Food Plant-Based Cooking Show, where we make plant-based cooking easy. I'm Jill, and let's jump into making this fun and delicious garden focaccia. So first we're going to make the dough that we're going to bake just slightly before we put on our toppings. So I have 1.5 cups of white quinoa, or you can use whatever quinoa you have. I just like using the white so that it looks more like a focaccia bread. This is 3/4 cup of rolled oats, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of white miso paste, and 3 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. And then we have 2¼ cups of water. So this is what's going to make our dough. And if you noticed, there's no oil in this. Typically focaccia has quite a bit of oil in it. That's what makes it so spongy. This is more like a flatbread, but it's modeled after the garden focaccia. Oops. We're gonna put our lid on. We're just gonna blend this until it's kind of the consistency of pancake batter. All right, that's as simple as that. That's all you need to do. So I already have my oven preheated to 400 degrees. So we are just going to pour this onto the sheet, and this is just a regular baking tray that I've lined with a piece of parchment paper, just so that we can get it off of the pan. Be sure that you put this on a piece of parchment paper, or you'll never get it out of that pan, because we're not using oil. And then you just kind of spread it around a little bit, just to get it kind of a uniform thickness. Just like that. And then we're going to pop it into the oven for 5 minutes. And that's just really going to seal the top layer a little bit, because we have another topping that's going to go on there. All right, into the oven for 5 minutes. Okay, so now on to the second part. So our bread is done after the 5 minutes, but typically, like I said before, focaccia, they usually pour oil on it after it's risen a bit, and they put some little dimples and stuff in there. So we still need a little bit of a fat. So we're gonna make this a whole food fat. We're gonna use sunflower seeds. So I've got 3 tablespoons of sunflower seeds, and we're just gonna lightly blend them first, kind of into a flour, because it's kind of hard for them to mix up unless you blend them into a flour first. There we go. It just takes a few seconds. And even if you have a few little chunks still in there, that's okay. All right, then we have 2 cloves of garlic, 1 teaspoon of white miso paste, 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast, 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar, and 1/4 cup of water. And this is really just going to make a little bit of a spread so that when we put our vegetables in there, the vegetables will stick to it. So now we're just going to blend this until it's really well blended and it's kind of like a sauce. Okay. All right, so we're just going to set this aside for a minute. I'm going to grab all of my vegetables, and I'll show you how we can put this guy together. While we're waiting for that, I'd like to share some background on our show. The Whole Food Plant-Based Cooking Show is crowd-funded, which means these free weekly recipe videos, along with our entire catalog of free printable recipes on our website, plantbasedcookingshow.com, and our Plant-Based Cooking Made Easy cookbook series, are all made possible in part by the generous patronage of our supporting membership community. So if you love our recipes, I invite you to join us on our mission to make plant-based cooking easy, and follow the link in the description to become a supporting member today. There's no denying the plant-based diet is a nutrient powerhouse, but did you know there are a handful of hard-to-get nutrients even well-crafted diets are often lacking? The
The latest research suggests that complementing your diet with a few specific vitamins, minerals, and omega-3s will help boost your energy and keep you thriving for the long term. That's why my daily health routine includes Complement Essential. Complement Essential contains the 8 critical nutrients lacking from most plant-based diets in dosages optimized specifically for us. Plus, Complement is completely transparent about ingredient sourcing and third-party testing, publishing the results directly on their website. As a special discount for our viewers, just use code PLANTBASEDEASY at checkout to save 15% off of your order.
Okay, on to the fun part. So this part you can really go wild, or get your kids involved or your grandkids involved, because this is kind of the artistic part of it here. And you can use whatever vegetables you have. I had some bell peppers in my garden and I'm drowning in cherry tomatoes, spring onions, I've got some basil, and I sliced off some wedges of red onion. I've got some minced garlic and some Kalamata olives, some sliced olives. So this is just, you know, very artsy, and it's a garden focaccia. So I always think flowers, right? So first of all, you're going to spread your sunflower seed paste, or spread here. And it's just a very light coating. But this is going to give it a really great flavor too. It's also going to help those vegetables stick. So just spread it around with a knife. And you could use, if you have herbs in your garden, you know, the little leaves of the herbs, like oregano would be great. I have the basil, you could use sage. All of those things would be delicious on here, and it would give it a really nice artsy floral, you know, flowery garden arrangement. So I'm going to use these, my spring onions, kind of as the stems of flowers. So you can cut them in different lengths. I usually go the biggest one kind of towards the middle. But you can do this however you want. All right, I'm going to take a few moments and just be creative with this, and I'll show you how I'm doing it on the way. Okay, I think my little art piece is done here, so I'm going to stick it in the oven for 25 minutes. Okay, it's out of the oven. Come on, take a look. Not only is it adorable, but I know it tastes delicious. So I'm gonna let this cool for a few minutes and then I'll meet you at the table for a taste. All right, let's go in for a taste here. I'm just gonna cut a little corner off because we still need to take a picture for the thumbnail. So I'm just gonna take this corner off. Get a little of all the different flavors of things. And I like, some of Jeff and my favorite part is this crispy edge. Garlicky, chewy, yum. You're gonna love it. Come on back next week for another great recipe.